This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
Playoff edition.
Ba, 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 ba.
The dream of the Oilers going 16-0 is dead.
I like playoffs because they make me way more angry after losses than
You were pissed last night.
I was big mad.
It's because we get so close to, you're down 4, you tie it up, you're right there. You're like, oh my God, this is so great. And then you don't even get to the overtime. It just, the bubble bursts.
You know what? I really appreciate that they saved us that whole intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
That would have been like painful. And
we battled back. We tied the game up. Kemper is beatable.
Yeah.
And they won game 1. That's the way that the script was supposed to go.
Oilers love game 1, don't they?
Oh, it's their favorite game of the year.
They love game 1.
I said at Greta, I was like, you don't even get a point. You didn't
get the loser point dance.
Yeah. I can't believe it. I'm so stunned.
Well, we're going to talk about it. The Oilers, as you said, BM, generally terrible in game 1.
Yeah, they
are
3-11 and something.
3-11 in the Connor McDavid era.
They were great in that third period.
If only they could do that for more than 22 minutes.
Yeah, 60 minutes of that.
Well,
third
60
period,
minutes of that, we're all right.
The strategy of getting punched in the mouth is one that this Oilers team does love. And they took it for 2 straight periods in the face.
Every single year these two teams have met, the Oilers have got better as the series has gone on, and the Kings have gotten worse. Year 1, Edmonton wins games 6-7. The Kings basically don't score a goal for the final 4 periods or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. The next year after that was the win in 6, where, again, they play great in game 6. They get contributions from their depth. Did they win game 5 that year as well? I think so. I think it was 2-2.
You're the memory guy.
5 and 6.
I don't know. They lost game 1.
Yeah, they lost game 1.
They won game 1 last year, though, didn't they?
Yeah, last year they did win game 1.
But lost
again,
game 2.
Lost game 2 and then won 3 straight games and the series was over.
So split it in LA, that's all.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to get a split in LA. That's the target.
Well, I think there's a bunch of different things I'm sure we're going to be debating today, but for the delicious debate, which is brought to you by our friends at Odd Company Brewing and Nation Beer Everyday Lager, a crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Pick one up at one of their 2 locations in Edmonton, downtown, or the Ritchie location. Or go to liquorconnect.com, type in Odd Company Nation Beer, and find a liquor store near you that carries it. I'll throw one out. After last night, are you more or less confident in the Oilers' chances in this series? Granted, I was very confident going into the game, so I'm not going to say I'm more confident. Maybe it's only like a touch less, but I still feel fine. Yeah,
I still feel confident. I just like where that came from is the fact that they beat Kemper 5 times.
Yeah.
I think that, I know we'll talk about goaltending and defensive structure, but like the Oilers clean up some stuff in their own zone, they're going to be fine.
Yeah. Just cut down on the high danger opportunities you're giving up.
Yeah. So a stat from Gregor before I get your more or less confident take, Rick, Dan, and Liam. Gregor, this is via Kevin Woodley. Last night, the Oilers gave up more high danger chances, 14, and had a higher expected goals against, 4.69, than any of the games during last year's run to the Cup. The highest last year was actually game 6 against Dallas when those numbers were 11 and 4. Skinner stole them that game. Skinner faced 4 more high danger chances than Kemper, 13 compared to 9, and made more high danger saves, 7 compared to 5. Gregor adds, could Skinner have made one more save? Sure. Again, the point is not to get into the goaltending yet. It's just to say the Oilers were very, very sloppy defensively, and you could argue uncharacteristic. So Rick, more or less confident.
Both equal, the same way it was before the game started.
Even keeled?
Yeah, it's just they did it to themselves by not playing well on their own end. You clean that up and this game wouldn't be terribly close. And the goaltending, it's kind of what you've seen all year. Like you would like an extra save or 2 there, but I don't think there's one that you sit there and go, that's a terrible goal. Right? Like you'd want an extra save here, but through the crease, the cough up from by Bush behind the net, even that last goal, that kind of like a flutter puck with Fuller jumping right in front. Like I would like an extra save, but I don't see a terrible goal out there either.
I thought the only real
the one
bad
right at the end of first period I hated.
Byfield, yeah. He's got to move a little bit quicker than that was my only thing.
Yep.
Get back to the post.
Yeah, get back to your post quicker. But Dan, more or less confident after last night.
I think it's hard to describe because I went into the series predicting Oilers in 6. I thought they were going to lose game 1. I think they're going to lose game 5. so like I'm not saying that I'm lowering my expectations, but at the same time, believed that we were going to have Evander Kane back. Didn't believe that we were going to see Trent Frederic. And thought that this team, I think, was going to be more physical than it was. So like there's a couple of kind of just like question balls that I still have up in the air as to what this team is, but I'm not like less confident in them. I just think that as much as the team was bad defensively in the first 2 periods, I also think that the team was just horrendous offensively, and
shots or something like that.
Didn't allow their team to get out of their own end to be able to even level set and just kind of calm things down. So when it rains, it pours with this team sometimes too. And Stuart Skinner, I think, was a victim of that.
Yeah, I'm probably more confident. The Oilers didn't tell me anything new last night. The goaltending was iffy. Bouchard made mistakes. The penalty kill was on and off. Their offensive depth fell away. But the kid, like we all knew that was probably going to happen for a game of whenever that would be. But the Kings, the fact that they allowed 5 goals on home ice, I think was a huge confidence booster for me. And the Oilers basically showed up for 20 minutes in that game.
Well, that was kind of like the tipping point for the series when everyone's trying to predict it, right? It's like their goaltending. Their goaltending. And I think we showed last night that it doesn't really matter who's in net. We can score on anybody.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge positive.
Yeah.
And
they just have
like
to play like that third period.
Like, that's the thing too. Like, McDavid was obviously the one that carried the load last night, but there's like also no reason to believe he can't do that every game this series.
I would
Like,
also
he's
say there's no reason to
unbelievable.
believe the Oilers can't generate 15 shots in a period more than once.
Totally. And they had one, what was their first shot? Their second shot came like 8 minutes left in the second. Like that
They had
is
4 shots in the second period.
crazy. And
That
then
is
they all
not
came
good
at the end. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I thought a couple of guys did okay. Like I thought Arvidsson and Podkolzin were relatively good when everyone else was bad in the first half of the game, I guess. But overall, they obviously need more contributions from other guys. And we're obviously asking for goals, but like, just don't be a liability. Like that third line of Nuge, Trent Frederic, and Jeff Skinner was brutal.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, I didn't like that line.
I think, and I mean, obviously you remove McDavid's skill that unleashes both of those goals ahead of time. But I do think that if Stuart Skinner had allowed the goals that Darcy Kemper allowed, we would be losing our ever-loving minds. Like pucks underneath his pads, like
that last one by McDavid.
The tying goal.
Pucks through his body, like we would be losing it. And I don't know. I don't know Kings fans, so I don't know how they're feeling, but certainly don't feel like, I certainly don't feel like I would be putting up finger mustaches in the post-game picture.
It was fun though, as the Oilers were roaring back last night when they were doing crowd shots. There was a lot of fans who were not feeling so confident as the goal started to pile in. So
Will Ferrell reaction shots.
Yeah,
Will Ferrell, to be fair to him. There was a lot of empty seats as like that game went on. Like Kings fans clearly thought it was over before it was over. And yeah, I agree with what Dan said to start. Now the more I thought about it, like at least you didn't have to sit through that intermission.
Blessing. It's a blessing.
Yeah, just go to bed. I got 15 more minutes of that secondhand Lions yesterday. That was good. What's the rest
15 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, 15 more minutes. So there's about an hour left.
Working our way through it.
2-hour movie.
One of the problems I had with the game winner, I really enjoyed Devin Dubnyk, who's on our pre and post game coverage this year. He talked about how like it looks bad. And I'm paraphrasing a bit here, but he said like until you've been in that spot where you have a avalanche of snow in your face and a body in front of you, he said the last thing Stuart Skinner would have seen was a left-handed shot winding up for a slap shot. And he goes, you're not thinking, well, I wonder if he's going to knuckle this. You're thinking this is a rocket and left-handed shots usually go across a player's body. So this shot is going to go glove side. And Skinner, you can see kind of like bunches up and moves to that side. And then the puck lobs over his head. Like it was kind of just shitty luck.
Well, and I said it to you too, like how many shots from the LA Kings last night came from that baseball plate, the home plate section of the ice.
Yep.
And you know, you as a goalie, if that shot is just zipped in there, Skinner's probably catching it with his body, and we're not talking about this. We're talking about overtime instead. So yeah, I don't know. It's annoying for this team to keep allowing those higher danger chances and then expecting them not to go against us sometimes.
Just start games.
Yes.
Not even better. Just stop. Like be there, you know?
It'd be nice if you got a little help from the officials too. Not help, just like call it.
It was just
properly.
weird because like the first 2 periods, they didn't feel that involved. And then all of a sudden in the third period, the Oilers start coming back. Soft call on Hyman. I think a soft call on Wman with the cross check too, considering what else had just happened.
Puck off the glass.
Like to put the team in a 5-on-3 in that situation is crazy.
I actually didn't like the challenge, to be honest.
I didn't like the challenge either.
I don't even care about the challenge because I really do think that puck hit the glass.
It did. You can see it move.
It's not conclusive enough.
First of all, the linesman was the first one to call it, and he called it off the glass. They overturned it on the ice. Like, I
didn't like that. But the challenge, I felt like at that point, Corey Perry had just made it 5-3. It's like, you know what? Let's just get through this 2 minutes. Our penalty kill has stunk all game. Let's get through this 2 minutes. We have 9 minutes to tie the game. I didn't like the challenge.
That's where I was at. I didn't like the PK, and then they obviously put themselves down by 2. They killed it off, which was
5-on-3 was great.
Fine.
Skinner made 3 big
But
saves.
like at the moment, I did not like that challenge at all.
Hand up. Didn't know you could challenge that.
Also, that
I think that's new
Tyler
this
and I
year.
were also saying that last night.
That's new this year, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Even if that would have benefited the Oilers, I think that kind of ruins playoff hockey a little bit. That took like 4 minutes, did it not? Or was I just that drunk?
No, it took a long time.
Also,
and they didn't get the call rate. So if you're gonna take the time, get the call rate.
Like heat since in the puck, for Christ's sake.
Something.
Such an easy solution to
like
all of this mess.
Other leagues do this.
You can hear the
league
noise.
does it. Tennis has been doing this forever.
100%.
Like, I just, like, the one thing, like, glass doesn't move. You know, there's ways to, like, make this work. I don't know.
See, and the tennis one is actually a really good reference, too, because I think what they say about with hockey is, like, you know, you go through so many pucks. Well, you go through a hell of a lot more tennis balls in a 5-set than you do in a hockey game.
And, like, with tennis, like, we've all seen those line calls. They can tell within an eyelash if that hits the line.
Yeah, they put it on the board right there. It's great.
And then the officials aren't exposed to terrible decisions they made.
But also that Hyman call was awful.
Awful.
Bryant Clark is a baby.
Yep.
Oh my God. Like how the puck is there. It's a battle for the puck. He knocks him down.
Also, Drew Doughty having the gall to go to the ref when he gets his cross-checking penalty, which was a cross-check in the numbers, and go, it's playoff hockey, while the Kings then benefit from the Wman cross-check, which Wman, first playoff game, overexcited. A savvy vet just makes sure that cross-check's in the chest, right? Yeah. Wman, I think, it was a bad call because no flop, but like
again,
the Kings are flopping around doing all this stuff, and Doughty has the balls to go to the ref and be like, it's playoff hockey, dude. What?
But like that's Drew Doughty though.
It is Drew Doughty.
Yeah. He's troll mode always.
Let him, because by the time this is over, you look back at it.
But I agree. The power plays being 5-2, I didn't think was super.
Didn't make any sense.
I didn't think that was an accurate representation of how those two teams played. Again, I'm fine with games with the power plays are 5-2 because I hate game management. But like, I felt like there were definitely not 5 penalties on the Oilers.
Is that all it was? 5-2?
Yep.
So 5-2. The Oilers had one taken away because it was a delayed penalty on the Perry goal. So 5-3, but also 5 of those resulted in 2 5-on-3s.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The other thing I didn't love was, just to wrap up on the officiating. In the name of fairness and transparency, they also got away with one when Corey Perry absolutely buried Joel Edmonton with a cross-check and then scored 6 seconds later. Not even.
It's playoff hockey.
Thing is too,
That's
like,
playoff hockey. Yeah.
With that one, say you call it, like, and then they show the replay, you're like, fair enough. That is a clear cross-check in the back. But the ones the Oilers got called for were just not penalties.
Yeah.
That's what bugs me.
Just call the penalties.
Just call the penalties. Like,
That's all anybody asks.
I'd actually love to see more power plays because I love goals.
Well, that's why I don't get. Like, they're always this league gags for goals, and they pretend like they don't know how.
The whole Vegas thing of like first team ever to have 200 penalties or fewer, whatever it was. Like,
congratulations.
It's not a good thing.
No,
they're not a clean team. That's Pietrangelo.
Yeah.
I still get it.
So we did I didn't like the challenge by Kris Knoblauch. The other thing I kind of bitched about earlier today on the live was I didn't like having Bouchard and Wman on the ice in the last minute. I get that he could maybe smell blood and it's like, oh, we have an offensive zone draw. Let's try win this thing. I think you pick one of Bouchard or Wman and you put a Nurse or Kulak out there with them.
I wonder if they were just thinking back to think about it now. I didn't say this before, but like Bouchard obviously scored that late goal against Vancouver last year. Like trying
put
to
Kulak out there with him.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the other guys. Suppose you would.
No, I would have put
Wman
Nurse out
wasn't
there.
bad, I guess. Bouchard just probably shouldn't have pinched. Whatever.
Or
They
kick that
lost.
foot out a bit.
They lose 10-0 or 6-5. It's still a 1-game loss.
Also, Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman played 3 of the final 4 minutes, and you could tell Draisaitl had nothing on that back check. He didn't. No gas left. I'm not even like ripping him for like not back checking. It's just like he had been on the ice a lot. Like if he has the ability to take 2 or 3 hard strides in the neutral zone, stick lift on Danault.
Yeah.
No, we're not even a conversation about anything else we've talked about now. No Stu conversation, no Knoblauch, no Bush. But he was gassed. So like maybe Knoblauch had to have a bit of a better read there. Or maybe Draisaitl wasn't gassed and it's a shitty back check. I don't know.
Which we have seen this season.
Which we've seen. Yep. You would
get that out of all
again,
players.
He played so well, but
What was that, Rick?
You get that out of all players, though.
Nope.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark would never.
He's too busy scoring goals for you. What more do you want?
As many goals as Dry yesterday. What could you ask?
See, both guys that you guys weren't necessarily high on bringing in this year scored last night. That makes you smile
Perry's
pretty
grown
big.
on me,
I know,
but I cannot sit here and none of us
Easy.
can pretend that Janmark's been good this season.
No, he struggled.
happy.
He struggled around the
It
net.
was very funny when he scored.
It was funny, of course. Worst celebration ever.
and you talked about the
There was
depth.
no celebration when you were 4-2.
You talked about the depth guys, Liam. I mean, if the Oilers get 1 goal from their bottom 6 every game, that's a win.
You need your
Yeah.
middle guys to start scoring there.
Yeah.
Like the bottom, Perry, Janmark, they got theirs. But
Perry
your
was
middle,
with McDavid and Draisaitl, though.
yeah. But the middle guys need to start putting up some.
Nuge had a bad game.
I didn't like that line at all.
I didn't like that line either.
No, I think Skinner just needs to be not asked to do anything defensively.
I'd like them to do Pods, Nuge, Arvidsson again.
Yeah, I love that line.
Move Skinner up.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him in an offensive spot. I don't hate
But
that.
what if Kane plays?
Who comes out? That was the next thing I had written down here. Game 2 lineup talk. If Kane is ready to go, and if the talk Friedman kind of has that, like teams were giving a little finger wag, like
Which is ridiculous. So
Absolutely
Because like,
dumb.
the extra 3 days, that's really what he needed to really get cleared up
Also,
for this.
Yeah, but where's this? Like they brought it up in the GM meeting last year or 2 years ago. Like, do we care about? No, it's all good. We're not even talking about. We're not talking about. Vegas has done it 3 or 4 times, and like, not a whisper about Mark Stone. And now all of a sudden,
The Oilers rule, man.
it makes no sense.
Somehow we're going to have to give Calgary a pick for this.
Yeah, it's.
We have none left.
And I really wish Colorado would have played Landeskog last night. It makes playing Kane next game easier.
yeah, we did. I
Just
got an
play him. It's literally not a rule that they're breaking.
No, and yeah, what's the NHL going to do?
Kachuk's a game time decision tonight.
Yeah, I know.
We did have Jesse Montano on. He's a good beat reporter for the Avs. I had him on Daily Faceoff Live today, and he explained the thing with Landeskog was that they said Miles Wood was told like 2 days ago he's playing, and Landeskog's not. Landeskog, before he actually committed to playing a game, said he wanted to do a full game day routine once. So he wanted to like make sure his body could handle a morning skate, get ramped up on the bike, take warm-ups, and then like, okay, am I good? Okay, next game.
Well, didn't he play 3 games in the AHL?
Yeah, I know.
Wouldn't.
Okay, so let's get back to the Oilers. If Kane can play,
Yeah.
which I think we're all assuming he can, did Knoblauch say anything today about it?
Not that I've seen it.
Yeah, he's just mentioned they're still waiting on it.
Still waiting.
Him
on
and
it.
Him and
Who comes
Klingberg.
out? Because are you taking out Janmark after he scored?
No, I'm taking out Pod Colson for the first game. For 1 game.
Oh.
Unless I mean, you look at Trent Frederick's numbers last night and his minutes were really, really low.
Got to
If
give him a
that's-
chance to get going though.
Yeah, but if that's like a lingering issue,
Yeah.
then there's your swap. But if that was just like, hey, we're easing you in, then that's fine. But I do believe if Frederick's in, I'm taking Pod Colson out.
Yeah, Frederick played 9-11 last night. That is a low for all forwards.
I don't think you can take Pods out because he does have that penalty killing ability.
So
So
then
it's the
it's
same argument as Janmark.
So it's Skinner. He was on the ice for 3 goals against at 5-on-5. So you know that probably drove Knoblauch fucking nuts.
See, and I think I'd go back to the Skinner, McDavid, Brown line.
First playoff game, never again.
Got a point.
Got a point.
I go back to the Skinner, Brown, McDavid line.
Especially with how McDavid looked last night, I'd be like, dude, you could.
If you
fucking
could carry
produce a
those 2
2x4.
guys, and then you look at Hyman and Nuge and tell them, hey, listen, you guys are playing third line competition. Get out there and own it.
How were the Oilers?
So who's
in a
coming
dot?
out?
How were the Oilers in a dot last night?
I
You
can
don't
check.
I'd love to tell you. They were 52.3%.
Okay. How was Henrique?
I'd love to tell you. Henrique was handsome. He was 50, even on the dot.
Okay, so
Zach
that's
made a
pretty
point today. He said he thinks Henrique could come out.
good. I just like, and
I can't see that.
his point was that like if you're rotating the lines anyway, like someone else is going to take the draw. You would still have 4 centermen in the lineup if you count Trent Frederick as a centerman.
I would be very surprised if it's Henrique that comes out.
I think it's Skinner, unfortunately. I just like, you're subbing a guy out who can play on the power play too. In and out. You know what I mean? Like, what else are they? Kane and Skinner really?
I mean, of all the people that have gotten pulled the most, he's the most likely.
Yeah, Brown. Janmark scored. Maybe Brown.
Yeah, Connor Brown. How much did Connor Brown play last night?
I'd love to tell you. Connor Brown played 12:42. He was even Stevens. No shots, 2 hits.
I didn't even notice him once.
I didn't notice him once in that game. He ended up playing just looking at his breakdown of line mates. Yeah, he did. Okay, he did get the bulk of his time with Connor and Hyman, and then a little bit 340 with Leon Draisaitl, 255 with Arvidsson. So they moved him around a little bit. Never really had success with any of them. Connor Brown maybe does come out. Maybe his heater at the end of the year gets him a bit of a leash. But yeah, actually, you know what? You could make a case for, as much as I agree that I can't see it being Henrique, you can make a case for Henrique, Skinner, Podkolzin, and Brown to come out just based on last game.
Because if you take out Brown, Hyman played on the other side.
Yeah.
Obviously, he usually plays right wing, then you put Kane on the left wing, and then you don't really disrupt much.
Can I give a counterpoint to your penalty killing thing?
Go ahead.
Connor McDavid was on the ice for a minute 27 shorthanded last game. That is the last year in the playoffs. He never killed more than 30 seconds in a game. He has not spent that much time on the penalty kill since February of 2024.
But was that because the Oilers were coming back in the game, trying to come back and spring offense as much as they could, or was it a strategy?
I think it might have been strategy. 5 LA Kings forwards, throw Connor out there.
Totally. It's got to be a strategy.
But I don't think he did it till the 3rd period, which makes me believe that like it was like they need something whenever they can get it.
Stay out of the box. Don't need as many penalty killers.
Yeah, maybe
that would help.
That would be a nice little step forward.
But how are you going to find minutes for Josh Brown?
I bet they dress 6, play 5.
I
2 minutes, 2:20 at 5-on-5, by the way.
I want to give Josh Brown one compliment.
Josh Brown only played 4:54 last night.
That penalty kill on the 5-on-3 did a pretty good job.
Yep, he did.
All he had to do was block shots and clear the puck. But that's all the Oilers needed.
They didn't clear it.
And he did it.
I don't think they cleared the puck out of the zone
He did.
once, did they?
He cleared it.
He's the one who got it.
He cleared it. Barely.
They got it out once, and then I think the Kings missed the net and it rimmed around it.
Yeah, at the very end there, yeah.
But yeah, standing there blocking shots so you didn't have to make Bouchard do it. You know, that's the thing. Like, I know there's kind of the conversation today too online. If like Klingberg's back, do you play him? Like, is Dineen? It's like, okay, but like if you run into a situation where Wman goes to the box and Kulak, for example, they both took penalties last night. You do not want Evan Bouchard on the penalty kill, or Dineen or Klingberg. Maybe Klingberg, you can sacrifice him a little bit, but like Bouchard, if he takes one off the knee, you are pooped.
Mm-hmm.
Brown takes one off the knee.
Did he kill penalties last year at all in the playoffs? Yeah.
No. Him and Kulak basically never killed.
Kulak?
I mean, Kulak and Bouchard would always be the pairing on the ice when they'd load up coming out of a PK.
Really? Kulak would never kill penalties. Interesting.
He's not actually like, he doesn't kill a lot if they're healthy.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Maybe I just always assumed.
It would be nice to have our 6th healthy defenseman though.
That would help.
Dare to dream.
Troy Sturgeon coming back into this lineup is actually going to be.
It'd be huge.
Huge.
Well,
getting
when though, right?
Friday?
Like,
not till Friday at the very least.
But then you survive one more game.
I don't think it's till game 5.
Why?
Because they kind of said on Mondays he's going to be a week.
Yeah, but then they said Frederick was going to be day to day, and then an hour later he was a game time decision. Next hour he was in the lineup. So
Brett Kulak, to be fair, this year was 2nd on the team in time on ice killing penalties, but obviously a big part of that, a lot of injuries. Like Ekholm was only 6 minutes behind him and he played 17 fewer games.
So put a bow on it. Who's coming out, Tyler?
Jeff Skinner, as much as I hate it. I think it's going to be Jeff. I think they're just going to sit there and go, you were on the ice for 3 goals against. One of them, he was on the wrong side of the ice. The other one, he crashed behind the net and couldn't make the play. I think Knoblauch just.
I didn't like how they put the right-handed shot on the left wing on the first line, the left-handed shot on the right wing on the 3rd line. It just didn't seem like, why? Why do that?
I don't know. Again, I didn't like Knoblauch last night. I felt like there were a lot of really questionable decisions. So that's why, again, I think he's going to do what he thinks is the safest possible move. And I think we saw this year in his brain, that is sitting Jeff Skinner.
I also think it's Skinner.
What do you think, Dan?
I wanted to, I'm sorry, I didn't even want to think that. My brain going into it thought Skinner, but I think after what I watched yesterday, I think Frederic will be out again. I don't think that he's all there yet. So I'm going to say Frederic.
Rick?
I'm sticking with Pods.
Oh, you did say Pods, yeah.
Brown.
Downtown Connor Brown. All right. I think this is going to be an easy one, but we should talk about it. Any thought of tomorrow's Cal?
No.
I do.
Yeah. Would you, if I gave you the button right now, do you hit it?
No, but it's definitely a conversation worth having.
I think you just put yourself in a spot right now where it just makes your game 3 decision so easy. If you go back to Stu game 2, if you're down 2-0, it is Cal's net in game 3. Unless you lose one, like unless it's like a low scoring and Skinner's really, really good. But like if you lose and Skinner allows more than 2 goals, I think
if he's got another 800, he's coming out.
Yeah, he's coming out. If it's in the 800, that's a good way to put it. If it's in the 800s, Stu's coming out and it's Cal's net in game 3. I think you probably put yourself in what could be an awkward spot if you go to Cal too early. Yeah. And Cal's average and you lose and you're like, shit, he was better than Skinner, but now we're down 2-0. What do we do?
So my bet is Skinner tomorrow. But I think the leash is very short.
You just got to look at the team and tell them to play better. Like,
yeah,
you're leaving your goal. I mean, that many high danger chances. You're still you're still giving the puck away. You need to be better. You can't sit there and just look back at your goaltender and say, save us all the time.
I agree. Sorry, Dan, just quickly. To me, it's not even a numbers thing right now. It's like, how are you actually playing? Like, did you play well in this game? Like, how many goals went in that were like, I cannot believe you allowed that goal?
Exactly. That was my
last night
point.
One.
Yeah, the second goal.
And he actually made some saves as well.
Well, that's what's funny too. There's this very strong, it's almost like you're in one of these two camps if you're an Oilers fan who's on Twitter. You either fucking hate Evan Bouchard or you hate Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
And if you're a Skinner hater, you sit there and go, why does the media never say anything bad about Bouch? And if you're on the other side, you go, why does the media never say anything bad about that other guy?
Yeah.
And the Bouchard defenders, which I like to view myself as one of them, maybe not to the extreme that some people are, but like, they'll always sit there and be like, they always just dwell on his negatives, never talk about his good plays. But those people will never tweet about the Oilers goaltending when it's good. Won't talk about Stuart Skinner making 3 saves on the 5-on-3. Mm-hmm. Won't talk about the wraparound stop on Kuzmenko. Good lateral movement there. Mm-hmm. Made that glove save in the 3rd. That was really nice. Like,
I thought they both needed to be better last night.
Yeah,
I
totally.
agree.
Like, again, the truth's in the middle. I just think the discourse is a little funny.
Because they refuse to hold their guy accountable to any degree.
Like, people on that Bouchard one were like, that's on the giveaway. They're like, that's McDavid's fault. His stick wasn't on the ice.
Connor could have got the puck deeper. Then Bush could have kept the puck in. And then when you get that back down the other way, there's a couple guys where you could have done this.
I just looked at that and was like, man, no, McDavid was thinking Evan Bouchard's going to make a normal play and chip it around the board so Connor could skate onto it and get it out of the zone, not against the grain up the middle. That's crazy. Anyways, Dan, didn't give you a chance to do Skinner Pickard.
The Skinner Pickard debate, I think it's way too premature to go to Pickard, even in game 3 conversation right now. I just think that, like, unless Skinner gets tanked tomorrow, you look at the game 1 effort, and we're saying it here, like, the Oilers didn't play a good hockey game until the 3rd period. And that's when Stuart Skinner was his best in this hockey game, was when the Oilers were playing a complete hockey game in front of him. So like,
play better.
I look at the Bouchard and the Skinner thing as like, it's like a political game, and you have to be on that team, or else we were just talking about this.
If you hold your side accountable a little bit, that means you're 100% on the other side. You hate your guy, and
it's just become it's self-defeating, and it really gets us away from the actual conversation, which is that this team didn't play a full game in front of them.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, like,
Gregor's working on an article, to Dan's point, that's like, you need to play more than 22 minutes. It's the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I don't know, when it was 4-0, I didn't see a lot of people being like, how could Skinner do this to us? You know, like,
because we had like 7 shots.
I know, like, but then I understand the comeback, and it was obviously so exciting. I almost touched the roof when McDavid scored.
Oh yeah.
But like, it is what it is. Move on. They've got 6 more games to win this series. And they will win a game. If you thought they were winning every game, you're nuts.
Does this not remind you a little bit of the game against Calgary in the playoffs?
Yeah, totally.
Shitless going into game 2. I thought they were going to get
Actually,
smoked.
you know what though? Now that I'm thinking about it, you brought that up. That one felt way worse.
It did.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was Calgary.
They were number 1. It's Calgary.
It was 6-1, wasn't it?
9-6.
No, but it was 6-1 at one point. And then we tied it up.
Yes.
That one was horrifying to watch.
Yeah. Everything hurts more
demoralizing.
when it's Calgary.
Are you looking up the
Speaking
box
of,
score?
I will give some flowers where they're deserved. Shout out to the Barn Burner boys for doing their stream today in LA Kings jerseys. I thought that was very
Oh,
fun.
I didn't even see that. Those rascals.
They're rascals, aren't they?
That's funny.
I also, again,
I'm not down with putting on a different jersey.
yeah,
I wouldn't either, but I think
No.
that's funny that they hate the Oilers so
That
much
really
that they're
tells
putting
you
Kings in.
something about them and their love for their own team.
Well, it's like what Cam said when we were talking before this. Cam,
Ever seen a blood put on blue? Nuh-uh.
no, no.
Ever seen a Crip wear red? Nuh-uh.
except for that one photo where the bandanas are tied.
Yeah, but they're those bandanas
That
are
was
tied
friendship.
yeah.
But like Cam said, are there actually real Calgary Flames fans or just people who
Oiler
live
haters.
in Calgary that hate the Oilers?
though. Exactly what it
And
is.
hate their own team.
Can we?
Like people literally did not want Calgary to win hockey games this season.
Hey, I've been there. Exciting last
but-
place hockey, baby.
Oh, I can't. I hate the mentality. Do you have the box score from that game?
yeah, I was going to say, can we take a little trip down memory lane, relive Game 1, Battle of Alberta?
Sure.
51 seconds into the game, it is made 2-0 Flames when Andrew Mangiapane finds the back of the net.
Oh
Then
man, I didn't remember it being that bad.
26 seconds and 51 seconds. Then 6:05 mark, Brett Ritchie makes it 3-0.
Right, Richie.
Connor McDavid responds. It's 3-1 going to the intermission.
Ooh, we got a
Thinking-
chance here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Sounds familiar.
45
Leon
seconds.
Draisaitl scoring at the end of the second all over again.
45 seconds into the second period, 4-1. 6 minutes later, it is now 5-1 for the Edmonton Oilers. At this point, Mikko Koskinen is in net.
Good
I'm
call.
going to need another beer now, please.
So it is 5-1, and the Oilers get on the board. Evan Bouchard, boom, it's 5-2.
Oh, here we go.
Okay,
I
maybe we got a
remember
shot.
that goal.
Minute 14 later, it is 6-2. And then minute 14 after that,
Here we
it's
go.
6-3. And then 6 minutes after that, it's 6-4.
Who's scoring?
Hyman, and then Draisaitl with 39 seconds left to make it a 6-5 hockey game. Minute 28 into the third, Kyler Yamamoto ties the game up.
Holy fuck.
Minute 20 later, Flames retake the lead. Kachuk 6 minutes after that. Kachuk empty netter.
How did that series finish?
9-6 final for the Flames. Edmonton would go on to score 5, 10, 15, 19 goals in the next 4 games and win the series.
In overtime, in the Sad Dome. I remember that. I jumped over my couch. It's arguably the most athletic I felt in my life. Straight 2-foot jump over the couch and no touch.
The Chris
And then
Comfort call.
everybody
OT
clapped.
Winner lives rent free in my head.
Oh, it was
that's
amazing.
Game winner, series winner.
Even like, I mean,
Yeah, franchise killer.
I guess Flames fans would remember more, but like we've had so many playoff memories that like I kind of forget about this series a little bit. Even that deciding game, Game 5, like the Oilers were down 2-0. They storm back and take a 3-2 lead, and then give up 2 goals in 16 seconds to go down 4-3. And then 40 seconds after that, Bouchard tied the game. Like this was just mayhem every game.
And then Coleman tried to cheat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he kicked it in.
Kicked the puck into the net.
Yep, he's a soccer
Thank
player.
goodness the refs called that one correctly.
Well, no wonder their company name is what it is. Oiler Entertainment Group.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Remember the Nuge game? He scores twice. Oilers win after
That
Mike
was
Smith
the-
gives one
I
up
was
from
going to
center.
say,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
that was the
blame
Rasmus
Rasmus
Anderson.
I hate that guy.
Man, I still like that one. I can see that goal in my head as
Yeah, me
if I'm
too.
still sitting there because I was sitting
I hate
in the corner,
Rasmus.
kind of like where your seats are, but like 10 rows up. I saw it coming up down. I go, uh-oh, I don't think he sees it. Bonk, right in the back of the net, right in front of me. I went, oh, because that tied the game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I did.
Third period, it was also shorthanded.
Yep.
Flames tie the game. 6 minutes later, Nuge, game winner, second of the night.
Well, actually, that,
Speaking of teams that the Oilers have killed, how about the implosion that's happening in Vancouver
So
right now?
I had that
Wow,
written
is-
down. I had that written down. It's in the news. It's brought to you by our friends over at Oodle Noodle, celebrating their 20-year anniversary. Find them one of their 15 locations in the Edmonton area. Jim Rutherford basically coming out, asked about Quinn Hughes' future, says Quinn wants to play with his brothers. So we
It's
either
not
have,
about. It's not necessarily about money for him. He wants to. We know he wants to play with his brothers.
and he
That's
then
hilarious.
Then basically adds, so either he's going to go there or we got to bring them here. And Jim, I don't think you're getting Jack Hughes out of New Jersey.
Also,
They ain't gonna
you're
be
not
cheap.
getting Luke Hughes either.
Also, this is all tampering.
Yes.
but they didn't get the league came out and said they're not going to do anything about it.
Probably because the Devils are sitting there being like, you basically just said you'll only trade Quinn Hughes to us if he doesn't sign there. We're fine with this.
Yeah.
That's totally New Jersey's like, okay, we're not going to trade you Jack or Luke. So
It's a game of Monopoly, and New Jersey had 2 of the properties, and Vancouver has 1.
But like the crazy thing about Vancouver is if you told me when we were going to Game 7 to watch it last year, we were at Greta, that this would happen to the Canucks less than a year later, like, I don't know that I would have believed you. I knew they were on a PDO heater last year, but I still picked them to make the playoffs.
And like, again, remember Canucks fans being like, we would have beat you with a healthy Demko. And at that point, you would have honestly looked at the Canucks and been like, okay, let's look at this core. Head coach Rick Tocchet, one of the better coaches in the NHL. Pedersen, Miller, Besser, Demko, and Quinn Hughes.
Now they're all gone.
There is a chance that by puck drop next season, Quinn Hughes is the only one left out of that group. In fact, a better than 50% chance that Quinn Hughes is the
That's
only
if you
one.
convince someone to take on that terrible contract EP40 is going to have.
Yeah, and you got to do it by July 1 when his full no move kicks in.
You have a, yeah,
Oh,
that's
Also,
not touching.
so Oilers fans do the little, and it's what you do to your rivals. They say like, man, we sent both of them into rebuilds. Right?
Mhm.
And I love the rebuttal from Flames fans and Canucks fans being like, yeah, with a core like that, why don't you guys have all these Stanley Cups? It's like, you can't trip back.
No.
Like, we are in an infinitely better spot than either of you will be for a decade. Like, until Connor and Leon retire.
You could probably put their teams together, take their best players from both, put it on one team, and we're still better than them
Yes.
by a margin. I don't think either team would be that much better than the individual team.
What's
right
amazing is what happened to the Flames and then the Canucks. Oilers beat them, implode. Kings, they just keep grinding.
Yeah.
They're
You
just
would
back
think
out there.
if the Oilers win this series, the Kings have to change everything.
And to be fair to the Kings, they do just kind of run it back every year with the same compliment
Finish
and
in
then
the
just
middle of
change
the
a
division.
piece. Yeah.
Just get that hot goalie. That's all we need to beat the Oilers. Get that goaltender.
Gavrikov,
Yep, that works.
Kemper. Yeah.
Oh, goalie. Physically.
How good would it just be
Yeah.
if Stuart
Cam
Skinner just
Talbot
ripped
come
off
back.
like a month of 9-10 and everyone just
9-10?
like, shut up.
Oh,
900.
Sure.
a dream.
904 or better.
850.
904 or better.
Mhm.
That's what I said yesterday. Like,
902.
get us 905 through the playoffs and let's go.
Yeah.
805, they win the game yesterday.
Oh.
Damn it.
Aw.
Elsewhere in the news, Lou Lamoriello, relieved of his duties by the New York Islanders at the ripe age of 82. Why? If I am still working at the age of 82, there's something very wrong.
They
with
fired
me.
him via carrier pigeon, I heard.
Yeah.
The Pope was 88.
But like,
Just for reference.
is this not just an issue in sports in general where it's like
Yes.
some people just don't know when to walk away from the game? Like Don Cherry, to me, his name has come up recently in the news again as like a resurgence of Don Cherry wanting out there. Like that's a prime example of somebody that overstayed his welcome in the media space. Probably could have just walked away like even a year and a half.
But if people are calling you back, I mean, no one's really
Yes.
calling for Lou to come. Like,
No, but I just like and Don Cherry is just a situation where I'm bringing it up. But like you could look at like writers in this city, sports writers in this city that have blocked up the top spots for years and years.
but if you're a GM of a hockey team, dude, I think you want to do that forever.
But like I think that it's
Like,
I think sports has
dope.
that
You gotta,
everywhere.
like-
you got to go downstairs. You hang with the boys.
Yes.
You're in the room, which
But when
is.
you're 82, you're so far away from them. Like,
But it's just.
they could be your grandkids.
I agree with you. Great grandkids.
Yeah.
But I think you have such a sense. Like, I mean, one of the things that most players in any sport talk about when they retire is the thing they're going to miss the most is the time with the guys in the room or whatever, right?
Plan a golf trip.
And that dude's probably up at like 4 a.m. He's done golf by 7:30. He's like, now what? Well,
So-
I'll go run a hockey team again. That's
So-
what I do.
Lou's out on Long Island. They desperately need direction. I think the more interesting part of this is
I put Ken Holland in. He's younger by decades.
By decade.
Decade.
singular. But what is going to happen with Lou's son, Kris? He's been working in hockey for 22 years and has only ever held one title. The AHL GM of whatever team Lou works for, like more or less. He stayed with the Devils when Lou went to Toronto for a little bit, but he has been an AHL GM for 22 years and has only made the playoffs 4 times.
Oh,
Is that bad?
And the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, or the Bridgeport Islanders, this year had like a horrific year. They lost like 20 games to end the season.
Yeah, but you got to see what they do with the draft picks.
I guess. Sorry, they
That was a
only
joke.
won 4 home
Well, I
games
was gonna
all
say
year.
like GMs of an AHL team has got to be a very frustrating thing, anyways, because you want to like build your team to win, obviously. But then the guys above you are like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't get the best players. You got to play this 19-year-old kid now, and you're just like,
guess.
whoa.
Also, too,
well, I have a job though.
I would say the job of an American League GM is to develop the players.
Yes.
Have the players put into spots to develop.
Yeah.
So the ultimate question is
How many guys has he graduated? Yeah.
Because on the Islanders, I can't think of very many, and I'm pretty sure they're like 11th overall pick went on waivers this year in Wallstrom.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's not good.
No. So where will Kris work next? I don't.
It's not good.
Maybe nowhere.
Maybe not.
Will
Yeah.
Lou get another job? No.
Yes.
Maybe he gets an
100%. Lou Lamoriello
Yeah, he's going to
in
be
the
like an
league somewhere.
advisor or something.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's what I would do. Is I'd be like, I'll be an advisor. I'll sit in on like the trade deadline meetings with
But
you guys.
you've been an NHL GM for like 40 years.
50s, 88.
I was just I was giving a little space there.
You've got the red line.
You got your own fucking cable line, or you get the nobody can listen to you, and I just think that generation they'll work like till they die.
Lou Lamoriello.
Like the president is what? How old is Don? 80 something. Like why? Why would he want that?
Oh, well,
Yeah,
he's
like
the
what-
president.
Yeah, but
World.
why would you like president of the world?
He's leading America into greatness. Right? Just like Lou was leading New York back to greatness. He just
How long was
needed
he there for?
20 more years.
How long was Lou in New York?
Yeah.
Since 2017, 18?
They went
So he
to
had a
the-
run.
He went
When
to
he
the
brought in
Eastern
Matt-
Conference
sorry.
Finals twice.
18,
and then
19,
that was
yeah.
basically what he just tried to
Like
relive.
5-6 years is like standard operating procedure for a GM, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lou Lamoriello has been a GM longer than all of us have been alive.
Whoa, what was his first job?
Even me?
Dang.
Wow.
What year were you born in?
81.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Ah,
You were
Old man
6,
Rick.
you were 6 years old. He first became a GM in 1987.
Wait a minute.
Then
That
he's,
means,
he's alive too then.
damn it.
And
No, 86.
Oh,
Yeah, he had a nice little laugh there.
Okay, so never mind. Just two of us.
96 for me.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, sorry. We'll edit this. He first became a head coach at the NCAA level before any of us were alive.
Okay, thank you.
1968.
Thank you.
There you go.
Where did he
Perfect.
coach?
Providence for like 15 years.
They were a pretty dominant team. Did he
20
win?
years he was there. Holy shit.
What
That's
was his first GM? I don't know. Where he
New
was.
Jersey.
Oh, he was there for like 20 forever?
Yeah, he was in New Jersey from 86 until 2000 and
Until Broder's luster
until
rolled off.
2015.
Wow. What a run.
And the job titles here are so funny too, because it's like twice in back-to-back seasons, he had to come in and take over as head coach midway through the year because he was like, I don't trust anyone else.
Had to, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Oh, I
named
always loved
himself.
when he would do that.
Fired the coach.
McTavish
My favorite, though, is Mac T
came down and kept an eye on the coach.
supervising the coach from the bench. That was the best. You don't see that very often.
Visual.
All right, Todd.
Also,
I'll give
his-
you my blessing.
his elite prospects page is so long because with New Jersey, he continually held all 3 titles of CEO, president, and GM. Just every title.
You
was
think he
his.
gets 3 different paychecks?
So it takes you so long to scroll through all this. Anyways,
What else
Lou
you got on the
Lamoriello.
league news?
There was honestly just those 2 old GMs, Rutherford and Lou. Actually,
And-
Rutherford's not even the GM. The funniest thing ever is when the camera pans to Patrick Alvin after he says all this, and Alvin's like smiling. It's like a scene from The Office. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah, if he would deadpan stare in the camera like Jim, like it would have been perfect.
There was just the minor news out of Seattle that Francis is bumped up to president.
and they fired
Botterill.
Dan Bilesma after 1 season."
Oh,
Which
yeah.
that sucks for Balsma. Because he was obviously like with the Penguins and won with them,
Won a
right?
cup
And then he was with
And then-
Coachella.
and had 2 great years.
But was just like in the
He played at
American League
Coachella?
forever.
Yes.
That was awesome.
And now it
First
just
day.
feels like he's just got to reset again, try and build his way up. I think he was just put in a bad spot in Seattle because their roster was, as a kid would say, mid at
Yeah.
best.
1 year though is very, very like
I think
abnormal.
It's just unfair.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think all these coaches what are the assistant coaches going to be? They obviously have that Jessica Campbell.
They said whoever comes in, they're retaining her, which is also just a backwards way to do it.
yeah. Like the head coach should
What do you think,
pick
Woody?
his coaches.
No, because I don't think Woody's going to sit there and be like, that's such a shitty job.
Yeah.
I think I could see, who I could see ending up there is like a Todd Nelson, someone who has just been clamoring for their first gig forever. And it's like what experienced coach is going to look at that roster in Seattle and look at the direction of the team and be like, son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, but a coach goes in and talks to the GM and they kind of put together a game plan for
I
like.
don't see what their plan is.
That's fair, but I mean that's what you have to do though, right?
That
Like
plan should be-
where does Woodcroft fall?
Europe.
Vancouver.
Yeah, it's Vancouver's also another one.
That's also a bad situation.
But we've also heard like that been brought up a couple times, that like Ottawa, and then
I'd rather be in Philly than Vancouver.
Yes.
yeah,
Shout out to, by the way, shout out to Torch for
Sandwiches,
firing himself.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm sick of working. Stood in front of, and like Frank brought this up. Torts was pretty quiet for a month, and then when he got to Toronto for that away game, is when he was like, I hate coaching this team, and it's like that's a good spot to do it. Every TSN's there, Sportsnet's there.
I
Respect.
loved it. I loved it.
I don't like coaching
Mitch
like
Croft
this.
did
I'm
come
out.
out yesterday and be like, he was a great coach and he helped me a lot.
Yeah,
His
I
line.
He also
honest-
said, he's like, I wish I could have scored a lacrosse goal for him.
That was so good. That's such a
I
good
honestly
line.
think he's probably not that bad in the dressing room.
I think he's fine. I think he just shows differently in the media.
Yes, 100%.
I just think
And
he's one of those coaches that's like
he's a
got
hard ass.
He's got an expiration date. Like Rick Tocchet is the same thing.
Yeah.
Hard ass.
But I mean, that's a guy like you want because he has your back. Just
Yeah.
As long as he has your back.
Until he
yeah,
doesn't.
just get you have to like
Although he did.
you got to like
bench
little blue
Cameo.
collar. I mean, I feel almost the same way about him when it comes to the Michigan. Like, if you attempt it and cough it up, like what could you have done
It's
instead?
so funny.
Yeah.
Moved it around, like you get
That's my
a chance
favorite.
on goal. Like I'm
But when
sort
it
of there
works,
with
though,
him.
it's sick.
But
Yeah, it's
like that's no
frustrating.
different than a wraparound.
It's way
Wraparounds
different.
Wraparound could create a rebound, I think would be the counter argument.
You have to scoop this puck
Yeah.
up and then try and like it's showy, and I don't care about that, but it's just so me when it's not. Like the only time you're me is on a breakaway, right? Even if you're done a 2-on-1, you use him to look him off. You do something like that. But this is such a me play. Get the puck in front of the net and bang away at it. Like that's just.
But if you-
I know, and will admit I'm a little old school on that.
You saw it yesterday though with the Byfield goal where you get it high on a goalie's equipment and they just don't know what to do.
That's my point exactly. Like, why do you have to go around the net like that? Like on a Michigan, when you can just throw it towards the net and that puck can bounce in.
I just miss the days when Mikael Granlund would go to the World Championships for Finland, pull off a lacrosse goal, be the highlight of the night for 3 weeks. Back to every year he would go and do it.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you got all these damn kids taking Granlund's
The
spotlight
other one
away.
too, the same thing is I'm surprised more people haven't picked up the Datsuk where he kind of slides over and then just flips it over and it's kind of like a little lob over the goalie.
yeah.
I'm
That
surprised
one's
more
a
kids
tough.
haven't
Yeah,
picked
like
up
the
that one.
Omark.
Like Dano last night.
Omark did it.
In a way. In a way.
All right, boys. The news was also brought to you by our friends at Greta. Just a reminder, every road game, we are at Greta pop-up shops, specials. Yesterday, a lot of shots of tequila, which is all I can say about that. But having some great times at Greta, food specials.
I got drunker than I thought I was.
I was waving off the shots by the fifth goal. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't do
I
that.
couldn't do them anymore. But I had the wings last night, which are on
Maybe that's
special
why
every
we
game
lost.
day, and they were real good.
What would you do if a defenseman said, I don't want to block a shot anymore? I've blocked too many in the first 2 periods. I don't want to block any more
I'd
shots.
say I respect that.
It's like Josh Brown, you're out the lineup.
If he had to work the next day, I'd say I
You
respect
know what, Josh
Yeah.
Brown? I'm okay with that play.
As the eyes started crossing a little bit, I'll be like, I get it.
All right. Bet365. Shout out to our friends over at Bet365.
Before as you find the plug, let me tell you something. One more Zach Hyman shot last night would have done a world of good
Did he
for
finish
me.
with 2?
One.
Oh,
Yeah, he did.
only the goal?
Yeah, he was
Times.
bad. Well, bad Tosh, but he didn't get any shots.
It was, I had green in all kinds of parlays except one little line of red. Very upsetting.
I had Dry and Hyman goals last night.
Yeah, I hammered dry goal.
I still won a little bit because they scored so much in the third and McDavid hit his props and all that. All right, for our friends at Bet365, want to get in on the action for the Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365? They got you. Game props, player props, totals, money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, the Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever you bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs, must be 19 years or older. What do we think? Let's play a little guess the line, boys.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the Oilers' odds shifted to win this series, BM?
Ooh, to win the series. I'm going to say, so pick them.
Pick them. All right. Liam?
It's still favorites.
Still think the favorites. Rick?
Yeah, I'm closer to pick him right now.
Dan?
I'll say plus 175.
Dan, ding, 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 nails it. The Oilers are plus 175.
To win the
To win this series?
We'll get on that right now.
150?
I don't remember what
Did you
we...
just
they were
lose
minus
6-0 yesterday? Or
They were
was it
minus
6-5?
130 when we did this last week.
What the heck?
But they're also down a game. So.
Can I give you a bet I like?
That?
Oilers to win the series?
Well, that Oilers to win in 6 games or sooner is plus 350.
What is going on?
That's tempting.
It's free money.
Yeah. Most points in the series, Connor McDavid has seen his odds understandably skyrocket from plus 165 to minus 130 in this series. So
are you rolling that one parlay?
Oh yeah, they're starting to offer me a cash out too. Shout out to Bet365.
Same
My
here.
McKinnon, McDavid, they've both just been.
I jumped in on that one.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Why?
So if they think the Oilers are going to lose the series, but McDavid will still lead the series in points, wouldn't that mean that the Oilers hypothetically scored more than the LA Kings?
No, because Connor led the game yesterday in points and we lost.
Yeah, but it's not like they lost by 10.
It makes no sense. Like I don't understand the series number right now, but the points there, that's those two, they definitely don't correlate.
Tomorrow night, by the way, the Oilers are underdogs plus 115 on the money line. You want to talk about a potential slam spot? The over under is 5.5. Oilers.
What's minus 1.5?
Sorry, just quickly. Money line and the over together is plus 287. If you want Oilers in reg, it is plus 180. Oilers flipping the puck line around and taking them minus goal and a half is plus 240. So if you go that and the over, plus 425.
I like that.
I like that. Let's wrap up then, boys, with some keys to victory for tomorrow. If the Oilers are going to do that and win as underdogs on the road, even up this series, coming back to Friday. BM, what do you think they got to do? What's one thing you need to see?
I'm looking at the schedule right now. The game starts, at least the broadcast starts at 8 p.m., meaning puck drop is going to be around 10, 15 minutes later.
If they're listening to this, you better put in the time zone. They might get confused.
This is okay. That's the mountain time zone. It's actually 7 o'clock in LA. Pacific. So that means the game's going to start around, 7, 10, 15, somewhere in that window. Yeah. That's when you start playing. That's when it happens. Right then.
But what if they just start in the third?
Well, that's what you do, man. You tell everybody, you get dressed, and then you get them out. All right, boys, third period, let's go. Yeah. It's a 60-minute third period tonight. There's 3 parts to this third period. Here's the first part of the third period, the second part, third part of the third period. Let's go.
Yep.
12-1 by the end of that game.
And like the honest one too is take care of your end.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Take care of your own end.
Dan?
Bottom 9 just has to get engaged, whether that is scoring and shooting or that is being physical and just not playing outside the lines. Play within the rules. Don't cause more penalties to come our way, but get physical or get involved.
Clean up those turnovers and play a strong team defensive game. You did that yesterday. The game wouldn't have been close.
Yep.
I would say limit the chaos in the defensive zone.
A lot of scrambling.
Yeah.
I like limiting the turnovers and just purely for the vibes. I want Stuart Skinner to just be nails and then after the game, do the little mustache.
Or secondary key to victory.
Okay.
I want at least 12 shots a period.
Okay.
For a total of 36.
Which I may wager on.
That's quick.
Score predictions, boys.
You're going to really enjoy this 9-1 win.
There you go. What else we got?
I'll say 4-2 Oilers.
I'll say 5-2.
I was going to say 5-2.
5-2, yeah.
5-2.
5-4 Edmonton Oilers win.
Oh, over under tomorrow, 5.5 minus 125.
Over.
Also this from Darren Dreger. Didn't share it earlier. As the Islanders move on from the experience of Lou Lamoriello, Ken Holland is eager to work again and has.
I made a joke and it makes sense.
He made it clear he wouldn't take someone's job. There has to be a vacancy. Big opening now. I would argue that it's always just taking someone else's job because they would just hire someone else. So, okay,
I love it. Man, I'm smart.
Oh, well, what if he's holding out hope that Atlanta comes back?
So now
Ken gets to take it.
They can have Ken Holland in at 70 years old or whatever he is for the next 12 years. Perfect.
Got to get younger.
Yep.
Got to get
younger. Got to forward think them ideas.
I like it.
The Islanders are not close to anything but a lottery team.
He would let them overripe in the AHL.
Panthers activate Matt Tkachuk ahead of the game tonight as well. So,
whoa, the league should look into that.
Come on. I mean,
the league needs to make sure as to why he needed to come back today.
Is Ekblad still suspended?
Yes, for 2 more
games.
Because it's game 1, Florida Tampa tonight.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
God, I hate that.
Yet there's 2 like.
Game 2s are over before
the Avs
game
are 2
started.
games into it. Yeah.
I go Tampa.
Yeah, I think
go Tampa
as well. Ottawa, Toronto tonight. New Jersey, Carolina, Ottawa. Minnesota, Vegas is the other one.
Is Stolarz hurt?
Stolarz is fine. He practiced today. 11 p.m. Eastern puck drop, Minnesota, Vegas. Tomorrow night, just 3 games.
It's just sweet.
Tomorrow night, 3 games. Montreal,
only
Washington,
one
Dallas,
game tomorrow
Colorado, Edmonton, and LA.
Dallas is in trouble.
They're tied now.
Big OT win last night, though.
I still think they're in trouble.
Me too. I'm still betting Avs minus a game and a half.
They are in trouble, man.
Yeah. All right, boys, that is a wrap on today's edition of the pod. Big game tomorrow. Join us down at Greta. Cannot wait to be drinking and hooting and hollering with everybody again.
I love a hoot.
I do. And last
And
night
a
was
holler.
A little hollering.
Last night was a hoot in that third period comeback. That was
Yeah.
something
Oh,
in
man,
that
it was
bar.
fun.
It was electric.
If you do come to Greta, dear listener, which I encourage you to do, don't try and take Chalmers home at any point. It is an adventure that you don't need to put in your life.
I can't wait for our Thursday edition of Real Life. All right, that is a wrap on today's edition of the pod. New show, Ask Dubnyk, launches tomorrow on the Oilers Nation YouTube. So go give that a watch. Support the former Oiler, Devin Dubnyk, as he joins us on his influencer journey. He will hate that I said that. All right, that's a wrap. See everybody on Friday. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.